as always, prayers to my mother, prayers to my father, prayers to my guru, and prayers to all of you who are watching this as my guests. So, we are discussing Ramayana, Rama's biography written by Valmiki, Sage Valmiki. Last episode, not necessarily last week, but last episode, we discussed Vali's death, all the politics around it, and each individual, how they played their role. And then Rama asked Lakshmana to make sure that the funeral is performed for Vali, and funeral was a grand event as decided by Sugriva. So we also discussed why it was a grand finale, because one, the soul was using this body all along, so we have to give that respect to the body. On the other hand, political scenario, Sugriva was the cause for killing Vali, and he needed the support of all Vali supporters. That's why he made it a grand event. You can even look at it that way also. And then the next scene is making Sugriva as king, performing that Pattabhisheka. We call it as Pattabhisheka, which means crowning the king, making him king. Here, it is generally the directly affected person does not start any conversation. If you need something, you have to make someone propose it. Similarly, here Hanuma plays that role. Hanuma goes to Rama and says, Rama, you have made sure that Sugriva is safe, and Sugriva can become a king now. So can you please come to Kishkinda, perform his function, make him king, give him blessings, and also take the ceremony, the thanking ceremony from Sugriva. So Rama always thinks through the details. Then he told Hanuma that my father asked me to be in forest for next 14 years. He did not say that I should not be in Ayodhya alone. I should not be in any city. I should be in the forest only. So I cannot enter Kishkinda. That is what, as an individual, we should have. That is called integrity, right? Whoever has asked is no more. Kaikeyi is not there. Bharata didn't want Rama to be in forest, but he did not go to Ayodhya. But here there is an opportunity for him to get into a city and have the comforts. But that's the integrity of Rama. He says, my soul is my witness. I have to answer to myself. If I were true to my father's word, if I were true to my word. Most of the people, they behave very well when there is no monitoring. When there is monitoring. The moment that monitoring is taken off, immediately the devil comes out of that person. They start doing all things that they are not supposed to do. That's because they think that there is no one watching. But our own soul is watching us. Our own soul is responsible and answerable to the soul itself. Once we believe in that, we don't need any monitoring system. We monitor our own behavior. So Rama tells Hanuma that I cannot enter Kishkinda. I will stay here. Lakshmana will oversee the ceremony, or you guys can go, you perform it very well as per your traditions. Sugriva, so Hanuma makes arrangements for his Pattabhisheka. Now, let us consider the situation. Vali's death was not a natural death, and also it is not by an enemy, it is because of his own brother, younger brother. And that younger brother is taking he is succeeding the kingdom. At that point, what will be the mood of the entire country? Everyone is mourning Vali's death. Should you make it a big deal to make Sugriva king, pronounce Sugriva as king? Or should it be just go there, a ritual, take the ownership of the kingdom and start ruling it? Natural way we say is, why do you want to make it a grand scenario? Your brother just died and you were the cause of it. Why do you want to make it a big deal? That means we expect persons who are in depression or in a sadness, who are experiencing sadness, to continue it. We were also told that if you are in depression, if you are feeling low, you have to light a candle and watch it, because by looking at that light, the energy, it will change our mood from a depressing mood to somewhat encouraging mood. Why should we be in the depressing mood only? We should get out of it as soon as possible. Depressing mood is not a right mood for anyone to be in. When something bad happened, like Vali's death in their family, should they be mourning for every minute and then continue it? There is no point in doing it. Instead, the way to come out of it is to celebrate something else. Let's say there was a family, death in the family, and also a birth in the family. Should we celebrate the birth or not? That boy, that's the only occasion for the boy, for the kid. Irrespective of what mood the family was in, we have to do justice to that boy. The kid, whoever it is. Similarly, here also, Sugriva's ceremony is once in a lifetime for him. Should he not enjoy that? Should he not celebrate it the way it should be? As it is in the normal course? So there are two reasons why it has to be grandiose. Because one, you have to come out of the mood, the bad mood or the depression mood that Vali died. Also celebrate the occasion which is unique for Sugriva. That's why Sugriva's Pattabhisheka was performed very well. And before Sugriva went for his crowning ceremony, Rama tells him that this is going to be a rainy season, and at that time it will be difficult for them to search for Sita. So the next this entire rainy season, you take rest. And as you are becoming king right now, and you have been going through a lot of hardship, you are meeting your wife after a long time, so go enjoy that. After the rainy season passes, let's start searching for Sita. Here we have to note two things. When we are in power and we want something to be done, we don't even care anything. We just say, hey, get it done. We don't even consider what kind of hardships the persons have to go through before completing the order that we give. It's so common within the management also that the managers say, oh, I want this to be done by tomorrow evening. They don't even look at the practicality of it. This is a lesson for such people. Rama has the power. He did all the favor for Sugriva. He made Sugriva as king. He could have just said, okay, let's start searching for Sita right now. Instead, he knew that rainy season, it will be raining so hard. All the roads go bad. And it is a gloomy season. It is tough for the monkeys to go around and search. And at that time, they may not give 100% also. Right? So when we want to have 100% results, we have to make sure that whoever is doing is at comfortable level and has everything he or she needs to complete the job. That's why Rama told Sugriva that go enjoy this season and come back after the rainy season is over. Sugriva's crowning ceremony was performed very well, and Rama Lakshmana could hear all the joyous music and the moments, all of that he could hear from Prasravanagiri where they were staying. Prasravana is the name of that hilltop. Giri means hill. Prasravanagiri means it's a hilltop called Prasravana. It is so near to Kishkinda that they could hear all the celebrations. And Rama says, Lakshmana, I'm very happy that after so long, Sugriva got some good time. He is able to enjoy. The one thing that we have to learn from here is we may be going through very bad moments. But if our friends or anyone got some joyous moment, we have to celebrate it. We have to appreciate it. Just because something bad happened in our family or in our life does not give us a right to extend our sadness to the other people. Instead, it is better if we take the happiness from the other people. So here Rama is saying that I'm so glad Sugriva is happy, Sugriva is celebrating the good days, and he has time until this rainy season is over. If we celebrate our own happiness, it may be once in a blue moon. Or it's not so frequent. But if we celebrate others' happiness, it can be every minute because we meet so many people and their happy moments. If you enjoy that, you don't need to wait for your own happy moment. Everyone's happy moments are your happy moments, and that's why you can be happy throughout. Rama established that one. Then, no, I'm just looking at my notes, so if I'm not missing anything, right? Uh, so there is no jealousy in Rama's mind that Sugriva is enjoying at his cost. It's so natural for people to say that. In one of the movies I saw, and it is so practical that three very good friends in a college, one of them and all of them, they did not have any interest in the studies, or they have their own passion. So two two friends, they went look at the they went to look at the results of a exam test. They were looking from bottom to top. So last two names were their names. They were expecting the other one to be the last third. And because they could not see his name, they were worried. Come on, our friend failed. How can we talk to him? I mean, how can we console him? We both passed and he did not pass. And then they notice that the guy who is supposed to be number one rank was crying. He was complaining. These two guys think that why is this guy complaining? Anyway, he's topping the college. Then they hear that actually their friend topped the college. And at that time, they were even more sad because they think this guy is one among us. I mean, he was among us. He was never studying. He was roaming with us. And we thought he is also like us. And all of a sudden, he proves himself to be topper of the college. So, the sadness they experienced when they felt their friend failed is far less than the sadness they had when they knew that he topped the college.
They failed.
That's not.
And they failed.
And no, they were the last two.
Right. They pretty much got bottommost.
Bottommost, and they expected him to be the same, but he was the topper of the college. So that means when we will be happy to help someone who is in need, or to help someone who is failing, or be happy that that other guy is also failing like us. But as soon as we know that the other person has not failed, he is beyond our imagination, his capabilities are beyond our imagination, our heart does not accept it. That's a major pitfall we have to take care of. Always be happy for others. Feel it internally. That's how you can be happy always. Now, he was looking around the place, the Prasravanagiri, and started explaining to her Lakshmana how beautiful the place is. Hilltop, he can see all around, he sees the greenery, and he almost feels the clouds. So he says, this is such a beautiful place. I see so many waterfalls. And suddenly remembers Sita. And says, Lakshmana, wherever she is, how is she? She cannot enjoy this season. She loved the serenity of this forest. But wherever she is, she will not be happy at all. And he was thinking about Sita and was getting sad. I don't know whether I discussed it earlier, the earlier episodes, but here he is telling Lakshmana that he is missing Sita. Out of 14 years, 13 years Sita and Rama were together. What about Lakshmana? Lakshmana was not asked to go to forest. He could have stayed in his palace with his wife, but he chose to be with Rama, so he left his wife in palace itself. So that means for the past 13 years plus, Lakshmana did not stay with his wife. He could have immediately retorted to Rama, saying that retorted
Yeah.
to Rama, saying that, what the heck? You're missing your wife for the past 1 month. Am I not supposed to be missing my wife for no fault of mine? At least I mean, father asked you to get away, get out into the forest. Whereas I chose to be here. He could have said that, but he didn't. Naturally, we do that. When we do something for someone and that guy is crying or feeling bad for the thing that he lost, we immediately say, what do you mean? I also lost for you. Why are you crying now? That does not help anyone. So Lakshmana did not say that. Lakshmana said, Rama, this is the time when we should be keeping our emotions up. We should be planning how to beat Ravana, how to search for Sita, where to search for Sita. We have to create our own game plan. For that, we should keep our anger towards Ravana. If you start feeling for Sita and then get depressed, you will lose that aggression. We should have that aggression, so we will be looking forward. So this is not the right time for you to behave like this. Instead of telling him that, oh, I am also missing my wife, fine, I understand what you are missing now, and I totally agree what Sita must be doing. He didn't say that. So however good friend it is that you are talking to, if that my friend is not thinking straight, you have to correct the friend. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, you are right. For Lakshmana, Rama is more than his father. You could have always said, yes, Rama, you are right. But he didn't do that. He was trying to keep up his rage, his aggression, so that they can plan properly for Sita. So the learning that we should have from here is, if someone is not having good mood, let's not discuss our miseries with them. I've also seen, if someone is bedridden or having some sickness, other guys around will say, oh, this is nothing. You know that? Oh, your leg, only one leg was amputated. But I saw the person, 2 legs were amputated. In what way it is going to help this person? Should he be happy that, oh, only one leg was taken off and the other guy had 2 legs taken off? That's not going to help him. So never talk about your miseries or some other's miseries and start comparing them. There is no comparison at all. The headache that I can take, the magnitude of that headache may be different from the magnitude of headache that you take. How can I compare my headache with yours? And some people can take pain, some people cannot take pain. You cannot just go on telling them that, oh, that's nothing. Why are you making such a big fuss out of it? You should be able to bear that pain. Fine, if he or she could have taken that pain, they would have taken. Why would they be shouting around with the pain? So never judge a person's misery or pain. Instead, try to help them out. That's what Lakshmana has done. And at that point, Lakshmana told Rama, right, that hey, you have to keep your aggression, you have to do this, you have to do that. Immediately, Rama could have said, you are my younger brother. Don't I know whatever you are saying? So the actual purpose of Lakshmana saying all of that will be defeated. So the way Lakshmana tells Rama is that, Rama, it is not that you do not know. You know all of these things. You only told me that we should not be depressed, we should keep our aggression, we should do that and all of that. So I want you to follow that. Maybe you forgot that, that's why I'm reminding it. Then immediately Rama says, yes, Lakshmana, you are right. We should not be behaving like this. Instead, if Lakshmana had told Rama as if it was his own knowledge and Rama does not know it, imagine what happens. Rama would immediately say, I know it, don't tell me. You're not in my position. So, you don't know the pain I'm going through. That's not the case. Instead, if you say, you know it already, all I'm doing is just reminding you. Then you will have a better, you will have a person take it easily and receive it properly. Also remember that depression will not take you anywhere. The thought that you cannot do anything, or the thought that everything is over, that's not going to help. A good leadership quality is always believe that there is a solution and it is on the way. Solution may not be readily available here, but first believe that there is a solution. And once you believe that, you will find the solution. So, always think and say that there is a solution for this, every problem, and it is on the way. And we are not saying that whether it is at the starting point or the ending point. We are just saying it is on the way. That means our brain is forced to think that it has to find the solution. Then Rama says, yes, I'm going to keep up my aggression. We'll start planning for Sita's search and how we have to how we have to fight Ravana, all of that. And then in Ramayana, the rainy season is explained so thoroughly. He says during the rains, all the all the roads get spoiled. That's why people cannot travel. And so before the rainy season starts, all the visitors get back to their own homes so that they don't get stuck at the visiting place. All the kings will stop fighting with one another. Instead, they get back to their palaces and they start enjoying, and they'll be enjoying the music, dancing, all sorts of celebrations. So rainy season is for celebration. Here people say, oh, winter season, I can't go anywhere. I'm waiting for the summer to go out. Fine. If you cannot avoid something, why don't you find a way to enjoy it? That's what Rama is telling here. That during the rainy season, people get back to their homes. They stop fighting for the territory and all of that. They stop going out. They stay at home, and within the home, they will have all celebrations. We know due to COVID, we are all restricted to the home. And most of the people were complaining that the high rate of depression. Instead, find a way to encourage yourself. Find a way to enjoy the life during that period. When leaders were jailed, they used to write either autobiography or something that they know. They used to spend the time reading the books, writing the books, or sharing their knowledge with people, or planning for the future after they are left out. Similarly, we should also, when we are forced to stay at home, we should find out ways to better use the time rather than complaining. And while this entire season was going on, Rama gets doubt. And he says, will Sugriva remember us? Will he be overwhelmed by all the joyous moments he is having? And would he come back and help us? And then again, he himself says, no, 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 Sugriva is not like that. If anyone forgets the favor done to him or her, that person will be going to hell. Rama is also thinking like a common person, common human being. Don't we have that dilemma? If someone promises us that he or she would help us after 10 days, so first 2 days we'll celebrate it. We'll say, wow, this guy is going to help us. Then fourth, fifth day, we'll say, yeah, still there is so much time. Sixth day, you'll say, wow, the date is approaching. Seventh, eighth day, you'll think, will this guy really help me out, or would he forget? If he forgets, how do I deal with it? How can I remind that person? So if that person is more powerful than us, we will be looking at how amicably we can get the things done. If we are powerful than the other person, we would be thinking about how to punish that person. Rama also started thinking that, will Sugriva remember? It's always, remember that the intensity of gratitude is inversely proportionate to the time elapsed. One of my friends who was orthopedic surgeon, he told me once that, Murthy, when these guys come with pain, the patients come with pain, that's unbearable pain. So they say, just as they see me, they say, doctor, do me, please get me relieved out of this pain. I will give you anything you want. I'll give you everything I have to you, but relieve me. And when he cures them, immediately they say, doctor, you are my God. I will give you anything. Please send me the bill. I'll pay you. 2 days later, the patient is discharged and handed over the bill. And on the bill it says, you can pay it within next 30 days. Immediately that patient would say, oh, I have 30 days. Doctor, thank you so much. I will make the payment as soon as I go home. He goes home and then forgets for 1 week. He thinks that, oh, 30 days are there still. And after the second week is over, he would look at the bill and say, wow, this much money? What did he do? He gave me a bed, he gave me an injection, and that relieved me of the pain. For that, why should I pay so much? Let me ask the doctor for some discount. A request is made. Oh, you asked me, you billed me for 40,000, but I do not have. These are my circumstances. Can you please reduce it? And after 1 month, he would start thinking that, Why should I pay this? Doctor is making so much money there. If I am the only person who does not pay, is he going to lose anything? That's why the intensity of the gratitude is inversely proportionate to the time elapsed. At the time when he was having pain, he said, I will give you anything you want. I will give everything I have. But over a period, he says, why should I pay him so much? So, always when you have to show gratitude to someone, do it immediately. Do not allow your mind to uh, manipulate you. Similarly, if anyone has to show the gratitude to you, you better take it at that moment. Do not give any leverage, because you will be the loser. That's what Rama is also saying here, that now is almost rainy season is getting over. At this point, he is already immersed in all the happiness. He might have forgotten us. He's not even looking at us. He has not come to us at least once to inquire about us. Is that not what we always think? If we do a favor, if we favor someone, we expect that person to come back and express, or at least ask us how we are doing. That's an expectation. When we were doing when we were favoring the other person, we did not have any expectation, but later on we have the expectation. Another example I'll tell you. This was somewhere in 2006-7 maybe. So my father has a house in India, and they rented to people who could not afford much rent. So we were helping poor families to live in that house for nominal rent. So when I went to visit my mom said, hey, that tenant is very poor. And he said if he can have a Xerox machine, a paper copying machine, he can make more money. But he does not have that much money. It was around $1,000 at that point. So, and also they are not sure if the business will be good, even if they put in $1,000 in India. I'm talking about.
Just to be clear, when you said Xerox copying, it's not to print more money, right? It's to
No.
business.
It is paper copier.
Yeah, it's right.
Paper copier as a business, so
Right,
they can make money out
Because when
of.
I heard that, I was like,
No.
did anyone print money? Like,
No. Sorry if I said that.
No,
If
I
I
think
meant
that's
that.
misunderstood.
Right? No. So,
We wanted to start a business.
here also, you go to Fred Meyer or any store
Yeah.
to take a paper, to copy a paper,
Photocopy.
they charge something. Similarly, in India also, private shops are kept and people can go take the copies. So, for each copy, they charge money. So, they wanted to start that business, but they were not sure whether they will get enough money back from their investment. And also, they did not have the money for the investment. Then I told my mom that it's okay, let's help them. I will invest on one copier. Let them use it. Let them use it for 1 year and see if they can make money. If they cannot make enough money out of it, and if it is not a good business proposal, let's sell it off, and whatever the loss is there, I will take it. So if I'm putting at $1,000 and then after 1 year it did not work well for them, so $500 you sell the machine, then I'll say I'll take that $500 loss. At least I will be satisfied that I've given an opportunity to someone. My mom said, yes, okay, good, that's very good. I knew someone, so we ordered that machine. It was installed. I told him that make sure that it is working and then it is maintained every month. Go check it. After a month, my mom said, you know what? These guys are not talking to me. These guys are not wishing me. You have done so much to them because of my word, and they are not showing gratitude to me. And it almost went to such an extent she was not happy. So I asked her, why did you recommend that person? Because you wanted that person to be benefited and they should be happy. So I did it. And at that time itself, I almost written off that entire $1,000. I never expected it to come back. But because you said, and I wanted to help that family, I had invested that money. But it is, what are you getting in the return? Unhappiness. Because you think that you have favored that person and that person should show you the gratitude. That's the expectation. And because of that expectation, and that person is not living up to that expectation, you are sad. Are we doing the right thing or the wrong thing? By spending $1,000, I was getting unhappiness for my mother. So I told her, forget about the money, forget about helping that person. You just don't even think that you have helped that person. Don't expect anything from them. If they're making money, that's what we wanted. So let it be. And so still I had to convince her to say that whatever we do, whether it is a good thing, I mean with good intentions, when we do something, that should not get unhappiness to us. And that's where the relationships go bad also. So after 1 year, I went there and I inquired. They said, no, we are not making any money out of it. Whereas the person who was servicing it, he said, oh, they are taking so many copies out of that every month. And by this period, they must have made at least $1,000 out of it. By all means. But from their side, they did not want to commit. My condition was, if you make money out of it, you repay my loan. If you cannot make money out of it, I will take the loss. So that way you are not losing anything, and you can repay my loan over a period of time, not necessarily immediately. You take that, you live, and whatever is left over, you can repay. When I was giving the machine, they were okay with it, and they thought I'm helping them. But as the time progressed, as they had to pay the money back, their mind changed. They lied to me that they could not make any money. At that time, as per the original contract agreement, I said, anyway, you're not making money, let's sell it off, let me make the loss. Let me take the loss of it. At that time, they could not say anything, so we had to sell the machine. They were the losers because they were really making money. So this is all the game played by mind. When my mother was very happy to help them to start with, and once we helped them, she started expecting something. It's mere gratitude. It's not that she's expecting any money or anything like that. All she wanted was, oh, they have to say, mother, because of you, we are making money today. We are happy and thank you so much. Maybe she was expecting every month that kind of a behavior, but she didn't. They were not returning that. So she was unhappy. Initially, she said, help him. I want them to be happy. I want them to be comfortable. And now they're happy, they're comfortable. Why is she not happy? Because there is an expectation. So never get into that trap. On the other hand, this side, they got all the benefits. As I said, gratitude, intensity of gratitude is inversely proportionate to time. So the day one when I gave them the money and the machine was installed, they were very happy. Over a period they were making money, they were happy. But after 1 year, the gratitude has gone down. And now they say, oh, do we have to pay him this money? He has anyway written it off, right? When he was giving it to me. So why should I pay the money? Let me lie that I have not made money. That's so common. And that's what Rama is talking about. Will Sugriva forget us? Will Sugriva be immersed in his own enjoyment. Once you get that thought, the anger goes up. So immediately Rama says, you know what, Lakshmana? Let's wait for one more week. And after that also, if we do not hear from Sugriva, you go there and tell him that the path we paved for Vali is not yet closed. What does that mean? He's saying that Sugriva, he's saying Lakshmana, telling Lakshmana to threaten Sugriva that the path through which we sent Vali is not yet closed. I can kill you also. Before that, Rama was considering Sugriva as his friend, and he has done everything. The moment he thought, the negative thought, that Sugriva might have forgotten them and Sugriva will not be coming back to help them, immediately, look at the wording. Rama's reaction was, tell him, threaten him that I can kill him also. When Rama can get into such momentary issues, who are we? We are just individuals. So we have to keep in mind that when we get negative feelings for anyone, we will be angry at them, and during that period our behavior will change and our word choice will be different, our relationships will go bad. Instead, if Rama thought that Sugriva knows my power and Sugriva knows that because of me only he has become king, even if he forgets, just a reminder should be enough for him. I don't need to threaten him. I don't need to think negatively about him. Why should he forget me? Or why should he feel that he should not help me? There is no reason for that. So, if he had thought that way, these wordings would not have come out of him. But he tells Lakshmana that. So, if you are thinking from Sugriva's side, if you take a favor from someone, before that person reminds you to return that, you have to return that. That's the best way to do. After the first reminder, if you give it, that's the second rated one. If you need that person to remind you multiple times, that's third rate. And even if he or she is reminding you multiple times, you're not returning the favor, that's worst case scenario. Let's never go to that. We should be in the first case scenario where we will have to return the favor before the person asks us or reminds us. So Sugriva could have come to Rama periodically and then said, Rama, thank you, I'm enjoying it, and I remember that I have to make the arrangements for searching Sita, and I'm doing it. All that he should have said, but he has not said that. That's the communication gap. Then so Rama says, Sugriva may be thinking that I lost kingdom, I lost Sita, and deceived by Ravana, and I am helpless. That's why Sugriva may be ignoring me. Is that really true? It's just the thinking process. When one is in a depressing mood or one is in a difficult situation, always thinks that way. All the bad things, all the bad qualities of himself, they surface, and they think that, oh, I'm fit for nothing, and the other guy is thinking that I'm fit for nothing. That other guy might not even think about him that way, but we perceive it that way and then make enemy out of the other person from nowhere. Here also, would Sugriva ever think like that? And Sugriva knows the power of Rama, but still Rama is thinking that Lakshmana, Sugriva might be thinking that I lost kingdom, I lost Sita, Ravana deceived me, and then I'm sitting in this forest here, I'm helpless, so he may be ignoring me. He's You have your subconscious mind. Whatever you think multiple times, you are putting that into the subconscious mind, and that making yourself believe that that is the truth. Never ever have or repeat anything negative multiple times because you start believing that that is the truth. So when Rama said that, Lakshmana respects Rama so much, and he loves Rama so much. He can never see Rama in agony. Immediately Lakshmana was furious. He said, Rama, I will go right now. I'm going to kill Sugriva. I'm going to punish him. And he started towards Kishkinda. Immediately Rama stops him and says, Lakshmana, it was just momentary. I don't want you to go like that. I don't want you to punish Sugriva. I want you to go there and amicably talk to him and remind him. So, when we are the head of the family and all our family members are respecting us, it becomes a bigger responsibility for the head of the family to express the feelings. The head of the family should be very careful about it. I know my family members love me, they respect me and all. If I start bad mouthing someone, they will also be becoming outrageous against that person. But that's what now I don't want that. If that is the case, I should be controlling my moods, controlling my behavior. So here also, Rama momentarily lost that. Immediately he regained. When Lakshmana was carrying his rage, immediately he regained and said, no, Lakshmana, I don't want that. There are again two things to this. One, let's not be outrageous to someone without knowing the truth. Secondly, if we make enemy out of Sugriva, who will help us now? Can both of us go search everywhere for Sita? And we don't have enough time for that. We hardly have maybe 3 months, 4 months now. Remember, Bharata said, at the end of the 14th year, if I don't see you here, I'm going to die. Which means, under whatever circumstances, Rama has to go back to Ayodhya at the end of the 14th year. After 13 years, Sita was abducted. And they were spending time searching for Sita. That means time is ticking. Irrespective of whether Rama finds Sita or not, he has to go back to Ayodhya at the end of the 14th year and he has to find Sita. And both of them cannot search. So he realizes the weakness now. And he says there is no point in creating animosity with Sugriva. Even if he has committed very bad mistakes, still we have to keep up that. We have to make use of his strengths. So in our life also, we may be unhappy with someone. We may be angry with someone. But if that is the only solution we have to cut it. We cannot just burn the bridges. And that's what Rama is telling Lakshmana. Let's not burn the bridge. Go and talk to Sugriva amicably. Remind him that the rainy season is over. Now, please start searching for Sita. And also, Lakshmana is more short-tempered. Rama always controlled him. And at this point, if Rama himself lost his cool, who can control Lakshmana? So Rama has to regain his calmness and control Lakshmana. Then Lakshmana says, okay, I will be as cool as possible. I will make sure that Sugriva understands his responsibility and he starts making arrangements for the search of Sita. On the other side, this is all happening on the Rama side. On the other side in Kishkinda, ministers like Rama, like Hanuma, and rest of the ministers, they understood that Sugriva was getting carried away with all the joys he got. Sugriva was not looking after the kingdom at all. He was immersed in spending time with Tara and his wife Ruma. He was trying to make up for all the things he lost for all those years. So he was not looking after the kingdom. He left the ruling to the ministers. He was always uh, in the, he was drinking alcohol. He was spending time with his wife and Tara. All of that romantic life he was going through. And ministers know that Sugriva has to help Rama. Sugriva has to make arrangements for for Sita's search. So they try to remind Sugriva. At the same time, before Sugriva became king, they were all in the forest and he did not have any powers. He was dependent on these guys, so they had better voice. Now Sugriva has become king. So it is a choice for him to listen to them. That's all. They have no right to tell him any harsh things. That's what we have to understand. Even though someone is our close friend and all of a sudden gets the power, we have to change our behavior. We have to treat that person with that due respect. If not, if my best friend becomes president of this country and I see him, oh man, come here, you, whatever bad words we use to our friends, and say, how does that look? Will that person be my friend anymore? Instead, I have to respect him as I respect a nation's head. So they send Hanuma to Sugriva. Sugriva was not ready to see them. But still, Hanuma goes and says, Sugriva, you are a great person. You have gone through so much of hardships. I'm glad you are doing well here. I'm glad this is all possible because of Rama. He's reminding. Without explicitly saying that Sugriva, you could not do this, Rama was the person who made it. Instead, he says, I'm glad we met Rama and you made friendship. Rama promised you the kingdom and you promised him that you will search for Sita. Is reminding Sugriva that remember that, don't forget it. And at the same time, he says, we have to help Rama before Rama reminds us. It does not look good if Rama had to remind you. With these good words, Sugriva comes to senses, but momentarily. He says, okay, Hanuma, send message to all the monkeys in this world. They have to be here within 30 days. If anyone does not reach within 30 days, that guy will be killed. So I want all the monkeys of this world to come here because I rule them. Tells him, he goes back to his palace again in the romantic field. Hanuma goes and sends that information. They summon all the monkeys. But the word was not sent to Rama that, oh, Sugriva has already ordered for all the monkeys to come here. You may take certain actions, but unless you send that message to the intended party, misunderstandings will happen. You may be as good as ever, but if you are not communicating that to the party, here, Sugriva, from Sugriva's side, Rama was not told that he has already summoned for the monkeys. Sugriva could have just gone, after giving the orders, he could have just gone to Rama. Remember, Rama could hear the ceremony, all the noise and all of that. That means they are not too far. And Sugriva was living there before becoming king of Kishkinda. He could have gone to Rama and said, Rama, I remember that I've already summoned, all the monkeys will be here in 1 month and we'll start the searching. The entire agony of Rama could have gone. The negative feeling could not have been generated. He missed it. He told people, go, summon everyone, I'll come back in 1 month. And he went back to his romantic life. Never do that. Complete the communication. With this, Lakshmana knew that Rama was angry, and he also knows that Rama is controlling his anger, and he wanted Lakshmana to control his anger too, but still his nature, the primary nature is angry nature. So Lakshmana could not control. He was going to Kishkinda with such a rage that all the animals in the forest could feel his anger and started running. There was a lot of terror created. And when he went to the front door of Kishkinda, the entrance, there were so many people, so many very powerful monkeys guarding that door. He saw all of them. His anger went even up. Those guys did not know what to do. They thought if we go in front of him, he's going to kill us. So they were running around. The anger of one person, it affects a lot of people. Rama's anger transferred to Lakshmana, and Lakshmana's anger on Sugriva is right. It's okay because Sugriva has done a mistake. So Lakshmana getting angry on him is justifiable. But the way he was walking, look at how many people were afraid of Lakshmana. And their daily routine was changed. They were running from pillar to post. And Angada saw Lakshmana. He didn't know what to do. He knew that if Lakshmana comes into Kishkinda with that anger, it's not good. So he runs to Sugriva. He pleads Sugriva. He says, remember Vali said, you have to treat him as if he's your father. You have to treat him like you treat me. But at the same time, you cannot take any liberties with him. So he goes there and he prays, he falls at the feet of Sugriva, at the feet of Tara, Ruma. So first he shows his obedience to them, and then he tells Sugriva that Lakshmana is approaching Kishkinda with outrageous mood. It is not good for us. Do something. Still, Sugriva is not in his senses. Tara says, go buy some time. Talk to Lakshmana. Calm him down while I settle things here. She goes to Sugriva. Again, Tara is very, very powerful, very balanced, very political. So she goes to Sugriva and tells him that Lakshmana is here with such mood, it is not good for you. You have to plead guilty. While Lakshmana was entering the palace, Sugriva is not stupid. He knows. We have discussed the political scenario at the deathbed of Vali, right? Immediately he looks at Tara and says, Tara, you are the only one who can calm him down now. If I go, if he sees me first, he's going to kill me. I'm sure about it. So I want you to go and calm him down. That means he knows who can do the work. He's delegating the work to Tara. So as a good manager, as good head of the family, we should delegate the work to the right people. Now, this is I have to explain the situation, scenario in such a way because every detail is very important. They were having romance. That means Tara did not have proper attire. Her dress was loosened. She was semi-nude. And then when she hears Lakshmana approaching the palace and the room, and Lakshmana stays outside because he cannot get into palace because he does not know whom he has to see, what kind of women are there, and those women should not feel bad that Lakshmana has seen them there, and he's not with his family, with his wife for 13 years. So it's not a good idea to see some other lady. So he stands outside and calls Sugriva, Sugriva, come out. Then Tara comes semi-nude. Immediately Lakshmana's eyes go down. His head goes down. And his eyes, he's not ready to see Tara. Because she's not in proper attire. And she was having romance. In the middle of that, she came out. Your anger automatically goes down when your head comes down, when your eyes look at the earth. So remember this, if you are angry, better lower your head, close your eyes, and try to control. Easily your anger can be controlled. No one could tell Lakshmana to put his head down and look downwards. But Tara could achieve by doing so. Will any wife, will any girl come out like that? It was purposeful. Tara knows the character of Lakshmana. Lakshmana would not be ogling at her to enjoy her beauty. Instead, he would immediately stop looking at her. The only way he can stop looking at her is by bending his head down, and that's how his rage can be controlled. Look at how clever she is. So when you are picking someone for a job, you have to make sure that the person can do the job and has all the abilities. That's what Sugriva has done. He chose Tara to go and control Lakshmana first. And then she starts talking. Lakshmana, you are justified to have the anger. But you do not know the facts. Sugriva has already summoned all the monkeys to come here, and he has given 1 month time to them. And so once they come, he was ready to come there. Secondly, you yourself have told him to go and enjoy. He's after all a monkey. Now she makes a very clever move. Let us suppose Prakash respects me so much and he is angry at someone for making a mistake. he goes there with outrageous mood. Immediately, if the other person says, "Oh, your dad also made the same mistake," what would Prakash do? He would not blame the other person, because whatever blame he is giving to the other person will come to his dad also. Immediately, he will retract from that. So, dad, father, guru, we talked about it, right? Your own father, your guru, your elder brother, they're all equals. So, immediately she says, "Remember your guru Vishwamitra, he was a sage, but he met a girl, fell into her attraction. For 10,000 years, he was having romance with her. He forgot everything. Whatever meditation he was doing, whatever prayers he was doing, he just forgot all of that, fell in that, fell for that girl, and he's lost 10,000 years. What is Sugriva? He's just a monkey." Laksh- Vishwamitra is Lakshmana's guru. So he can never hear bad things about him. And yes, Vishwamitra fell in love with someone and he lost his 10,000 years of prayer. And she's saying, when he, such a enlightened person, can do that, who is Sugriva? He's just a monkey and he is drowned with the love. So he was in this romantic field. And even if he has forgotten about Rama, can you not forgive him? You forgave your guru. Your guru has done it. You never thought about it. But now you are so angry at Sugriva. Done. She had put all the cold water on the fire. Lakshmana had no answer. So that's what we have to learn. When someone is very angry, outrageous, how to deal with that person. First, make sure that the person bends his head down for some reason, one reason or the other, and bring a similarity in such a way that he cannot dispute. Everything should be done in a calm manner. If Tara was also angry and starts shouting at Lakshmana, it would not work. When she says all of this, immediately Lakshmana says, "I'm sorry." Who made the mistake? And who is apologizing now? That's the power of Tara. He says, "I'm sorry for making all this inconvenience to you." He says, "Can I talk to Sugriva?" That's when Sugriva comes out. He is still intoxicated. He is still under the influence of drugs. And he was still immersed in romance with Ruma. But once he realized that Lakshmana's anger was subsided, then he comes out and he falls at the feet of Lakshmana and then says, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Now, Tara has removed all his anger, but the moment he saw Sugriva, again the rage goes up. Is that not natural? So he tells Sugriva, "Sugriva, I don't know what you are doing, whatever it is, but Rama said the path that we sent Vali up is not yet closed." Rama did tell him, "Don't go that way. You just go amicably settle it. Make sure that he comes back and then starts searching for Sita." But because of his anger, he could not control. He did say those words. You can take it in two ways. One, he could not control his anger and he was agonized by Rama's sadness, so he had to say that. Secondly, he could understand the political game Sugriva was playing. sending Tara first, and then coming here, putting him into guilt and making him apologize. So he had to tell him the power, still remind him the power of Rama. So he said, Rama can kill you. So then again, see, Lakshmana says, come and keep up your promise. Rama is waiting there. Sugriva says, I've already summoned them, I'm coming right now. That's when he goes to Rama and again pleads guilty and also says that I have summoned all the monkeys here. They will be coming here anytime and we will start searching for them. Until then, we will have some time. So, as Rama's greatness, he does not express his disappointment at Sugriva. Again, once you committed to a friend, as a friend, you have to treat that person with due respect. You cannot say, oh, you are my good friend yesterday, and today be outrageous at him, and tomorrow start punishing him. Before making that friendship itself, you have to think 100 times and say, is this guy worthy of my friendship? Only then, once you decide he is worthy of your friendship, never go back on that. If you go back on that, who is insulted? Your own judgment. That means you do not know whom to make your friend. So if Rama finds faults with Sugriva, whose mistake is that? Who made Sugriva as friend? Rama. That means his judgment was wrong. Can he accept it? He cannot. So he has to keep up that friendship and he has to keep his calmness. So one thing that we have to learn from this behavior is that when we commit to someone as a friend, we have to keep up that. In other words, let me ask you, who is your worst enemy tomorrow? Your best friend today can be your worst enemy tomorrow. Because today you think that he or she is your best friend and so share all your secrets. And something happens. Something happens and it creates a wedge between you and that friend. Tomorrow he is the worst enemy because any other enemies would not have known your secrets. But because this guy was treated as the best friend, you let all the secrets known to him or her. And tomorrow when the animosity comes into picture, he or she would be the worst enemy because they know your secrets. So, if you are making a person as friend, make sure that friend is there for the life. Similarly, if your friend is ill-treating you and you are getting angry and you are creating an animosity, it is a moral responsibility that whatever was shared with you as a friend should be forgotten. They should not be taken into consideration to take away your animosity against that person. If I say, if today I consider someone as my best friend, I tell that person where I store my money in cash, where I put my gold, and then how I plan for anything, and then how do I go, what are all my security vulnerabilities and all of that. And tomorrow he becomes my enemy. He can easily snatch everything that I have. Instead, that person has to say that I know all of these things. I'm not going to use that against this person because I came to know about that when he was my friend. And once I become enemy, from that point only, whatever I have, I will have to use that against the enemy. I should not use this. I should not sell my friend once he becomes my enemy. How many people can do that? Very, very limited people do that. So, my friends, I urge you to start learning this. Today's friend is your tomorrow's worst enemy, most probable worst enemy. Either do not share everything. At the same time, even if he or she shares things, once the animosity is in the picture, do not use whatever was shown. People badmouth friends so badly because they have already said, "Oh, I don't." X, Y are good friends. X will say, "You know what? That A has done so many bad things. The B has done so many bad things, and C you should never believe." And when X and Y become enemies, if Y goes and tells A that X talks about you like this, hey B, X talks about you like this, and C, X was saying that you are fit for nothing. Is that the way to do it? Instead, you should ever ABC would come to you saying that, oh, now you are enemy with him. Tell us, how can we beat? We are all common now. We are all enemies of that guy. So how can we get together as friends? At that time also, why should say that, you know what? I have my difference of opinion with him, but that does not mean that I will be joining his enemies and let all the secrets of him known to you. That should be the stand. Okay? So, with all that, Sugriva and Rama were back to normalcy. Rama never expressed his grievances or unhappiness, and Sugriva knows that he was unhappy, but he has not surfaced it. All he said was, "I'm on the job. We are going to work on that." And then now he seriously started taking the job and making all the actions visible to Rama. And because Rama is calm, Lakshmana is also happy. And they started planning how to confront Ravana. So, today's episode, let's stop at this point. Let's see if there are any questions. I was not following the chat here.
None today.
None today.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask either now or
Yeah.
just send me a DM or send it to me on a comment or something. I'd love to send it to my dad. We can answer it next time.
Okay. So again, when I'm sharing my personal stories, it is not to boast ourselves or our families. It's just to share our learnings and how we have implemented it. It is nothing to, it is not to glorify ourselves or anything like that. It is just, I cannot take someone else personal experience and give it here. Instead, I would rather tell my personal experiences. And if I have faltered, yes, I would accept that too. I would say here is where I made mistakes. Generally, the mistakes are the ones that teach us the most lessons. And the easiest way to learn is from the others' mistakes. We don't need to make mistakes. By looking at others' mistakes itself, if we can learn, that's the best way of doing it. So, with that, let's conclude this episode. Enjoy your rest of the week, and until next Wednesday, let us know your feedback and what you like we can improve on that. Take care. Bye.